The Endless Cycle, Why Samsara Has No Beginning, Buddhist Sutta and Abhidhamma Truths. You've lived before, and before that, and before even the stars above you were born, your mind was already wandering through the ocean of existence. But how long has this cycle been spinning? Is there a first birth? A first tear? A first goodbye? The Buddha gave a clear answer. There is no discoverable beginning to samsara. Welcome to this deep journey through the endless cycle of rebirth, through ancient suttas and profound Abhidhamma wisdom. Prepare yourself. This will change the way you see your life, your past, and your future. Chapter 1. The Endless Beginning of Samsara. There is no beginning, bhikkhus, that can be found for this samsara. A young monk once asked the Buddha, "Venerable Sir, when did this all begin? When did we first enter this world of birth, aging, and death?" The Buddha answered with a gentle firmness, "That is not a question that leads to liberation. You seek the beginning of a circle, but a circle has no starting point. This is the heart of the Buddha's teaching on samsara. It has no discoverable beginning. The world, our identities, and the countless lives we have lived, all unfold in a timeless spiral, driven by ignorance, avijja, and craving, tanha. The two fuel sources, ignorance and craving. From the Abhidhamma perspective, the root causes of this endless cycle are two powerful unwholesome factors: avijja, ignorance, not understanding the Four Noble Truths; impermanence, non-self, and the true nature of existence; tanha, craving, the thirst for becoming, non-becoming, sensual pleasures, and mental formations. These two fuel the arising of kama, intentional actions, which then condition future rebirths. Example? Think of a potter's wheel. Once you give it a push, it keeps spinning, even after you stop touching it. Similarly, the momentum of ignorance and craving keeps the cycle of rebirth turning. The parable of the blind man and the archer. In the suttas, the Buddha compares a being wandering in samsara to a blind man searching for a black bull in the dark, and an archer who keeps shooting arrows into the sky hoping to hit a star. The truth is, we've all been wandering blindly, guided not by wisdom, but by our emotional impulses and desires. We shoot arrows of effort, building careers, relationships, and identities, but our aim is flawed. Why? Because we do not see the truth. Where have you been? Who have you been? The Buddha once said, "It is not easy to find a being who has not been your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your son, or your daughter." This vast statement implies that over countless lifetimes, we have been everything, every gender, species, class, and role. The enemy you dislike today may have been your child in a previous life. The stranger you walk past could have been your father. There is no one you have not shared a bond with, and no identity you have not worn. This is not metaphor. It is the literal truth of samsara. The nature of continuity, Abhidhamma view. The Abhidhamma offers a revolutionary insight. There is no enduring self that travels from life to life. Instead, there is only a series of conditioned mental and physical phenomena, nama, mind, and rupa, matter. These arise and pass away moment to moment, but due to karma, they continue without interruption. Just as one candle lights another, the flame continues, but is not the same. From this perspective, life is not a fixed identity, but a flowing current. Death is not an end, but a redirection of energy. Rebirth is not a choice, but a result. Why can't we remember? A common question arises: if I have lived before, why don't I remember? The answer is both biological and psychological. Memory is tied to the brain and the conditions of this life. Past life memories are clouded by the complete transformation of physical and mental faculties at rebirth. But the Buddha remembered. Through deep meditation, he recalled countless aeons of past lives. And so have many advanced meditators, even in the modern day. The danger of forgetfulness. Forgetting the truth of samsara is like a prisoner who forgets he's in prison and starts decorating his cell. We decorate our current lives, relationships, possessions, titles. But all of it is impermanent. We rejoice when things go well and despair when they don't, forgetting that we are on a wheel that spins, not because we want it to, but because we don't understand it. The first step to liberation. The Buddha's teaching begins not with belief, but with seeing clearly. The truth is this: you have been here long enough. You have wandered for eons. You have cried more than you have laughed. You have died more times than you can count, and every life has ended the same, in disappointment, separation, and decay. To escape samsara, you must first understand it, deeply, directly, and fearlessly. This is only chapter 1. We will now travel deeper into this cycle to see not just what it is, but how it works, why it persists, and how it can be ended. Chapter 2. The Ocean of Tears. The Sorrow of Endless Wandering. It is not easy, bhikkhus, to find a pool of water smaller than the tears you have shed while wandering and roaming this long time. Buddha once pointed to a great river and said, "Monks, if all the tears you have wept in samsara were collected, they would exceed the waters of this river." This teaching opens the eyes not through logic, but through shocking compassion, an awakening to the sorrow we carry without even knowing. We cry in birth. We cry in sickness. We cry at funerals. And we have done this not once, but uncountable times. The pain you felt when your mother died, you've felt that many times more than you've breathed in this life. What causes all this sorrow? The Abhidhamma gives a precise explanation. It is attachment to conditioned things, sankhara, that are impermanent and unreliable. These include people we love, bodies we identify with, sensual experiences we cling to, views we hold as truth. Yet, none of these stay, not even for a moment. Whatever is born will age and die. That is the law. The knowledge of the fixed nature of reality. Example: the child who died too soon. A wealthy merchant once lost his only son to illness. He screamed at the Buddha, You teach that nothing is mine, but my child was mine." The Buddha replied, "Did you make his body? Can you keep it from aging? Can you command it not to die?" The man cried harder. Then the Buddha said, "This child has died and been reborn more times than you can count. In many lives he was your father, and in others your enemy. You cry now, but you have cried for him before, in 1,000 forms." The mind's prison, moha, delusion. In the Abhidhamma, the mental factor called moha, delusion, prevents us from seeing this pattern. It keeps us locked in a dream of false hopes and expectations. We think, "This time will be different. This life will give me lasting happiness. I can protect my loved ones forever." But moha makes us forget impermanence, and as a result, we suffer. Every time you feel grief, disappointment, or heartache, remember, this is not new. You have done this before. It is not personal punishment. It is the natural law of samsara. The longing that hurts us. The suttas speak of a longing for reunion with loved ones, a deep emotional pull to be with those who have passed or are far away. This longing leads to rebirth. Why? Because the mind that dies thinking of desire, attachment, or regret is a mind that generates new becoming. Whatever one frequently thinks and ponders upon, that will become the inclination of the mind. In other words, our sorrow becomes our rebirth. The river of rebirth, samsara as a current. In the Abhidhamma, the mind is described as a stream of moments, chittavritti, each moment arising and falling away rapidly, yet conditioning the next. This flow does not stop at death. The final chitta in this life gives rise to the rebirth-linking chitta, patisandhi, which then starts the new existence, like one wave following another in the sea. And so we drift, not as travelers on a path, but as floaters in a vast ocean, pulled by the winds of our own craving. One day, Venerable Ananda saw the Buddha looking out quietly at the world. "Why do you look so, Blessed One?" he asked. The Buddha replied, "Ananda, I see the river of blood that beings have shed from having their heads cut off as criminals, the milk they have fed their babies, the tears they have wept from loss. It is a river that has no shore. This is not mythology. This is memory of samsara." The Buddha, through his awakened vision, saw the truth that we forget every day. What can we do with this truth? Do not be discouraged. This truth is not to make you hopeless, but to wake you up. Once you understand the true cost of existence, you will no longer waste time trying to fix samsara. Instead, you will begin to let go of attachment, not with hatred, but with wisdom. Practice meditation to directly observe the rising and falling of mental states. Develop compassion, because every being you see has cried like you have. Chapter 3. Bones piled higher than mountains. The bones of a single person, bhikkhus, running on and wandering through this long journey of samsara, if collected, would make a pile as high as Mount Vipula. The mountain of your own bones. In the quiet dawn hours, the Buddha once pointed toward Mount Vipula, near Rajagaha, and said, "If the bones of a single being through many births were gathered, they would form a mountain higher than this one." Imagine that. Your skeleton from this life adds to the pile. Your skeleton from your last life rests beneath it. Your skeleton from your animal lives, dogs, birds, deer, and fish, adds to it further. And this has gone on not for a century, not for a millennium, but for countless aeons. This is the stark reality of samsara, an endless cycle of becoming and decay. The mountain of bone is not a curse. Here's a deeper truth. The Buddha did not say these things to frighten or shame you. He said them to wake you up. This mountain of bones is not a curse. It is a mirror. Look into it and ask, how long do I wish to wander? How many bodies will satisfy me? How many graves must I fill before I choose to be free? This questioning is the beginning of yoniso manasikara, wise reflection, which leads to disenchantment, renunciation, and ultimately nibbana. The turning point. Wisdom arises. Once you see the truth of the mountain of bones, you no longer chase rebirth. You no longer envy those with riches or appearances. You begin to develop 1. Sati, mindfulness, to see each thought arise and pass. 2. Panya, wisdom, to recognize what is empty and what is real. 3. Viriya, effort, to practice diligently, knowing the cost of delay. You begin to climb not the mountain of bones, but the noble eightfold path, a true summit that leads out of the cycle. I shall not add more bones to the pile. This life shall be the turning point. Chapter 4. The 6 sense bases, the doors of samsara. Why do we suffer? Because we constantly connect to the world through 6 sense bases. Salayatana. 1. Eye, kaku. 2. Ear, sota. 3. Nose, ghana. 4. Tongue, jiva. 5. Body, kaya. 6. Mind, mano. These are like 6 open doors through which the world enters and the cycle of samsara spins. Whenever a sense base meets its object, contact, phassa, happens. Contact, feeling, craving, clinging, becoming, birth, suffering. This is how rebirth begins at the doors. Imagine your mind as a monkey inside a house with 6 windows. Every time something appears outside, a sound, a sight, a thought, the monkey leaps. It never rests. This is how the untrained mind behaves, constantly pulled by the senses. How samsara happens. See a form, feel pleasure, crave. Hear a sound, react. Think a thought, build I and mine. Each moment of unawareness creates new karma, fueling samsara. We think we own our experiences. I saw this. I heard that. I feel this pain. But these are just contacts, not a self. Meditation. Watching the doors. In Vipassana, we learn to see sight as sight, sound as sound, thought as just a thought. This is sense restraint, not repression, but wise awareness. Like an empty stage, life is a stage, eye is the light, ear is the sound, mind is the script. When we stop reacting, the stage is still. The self vanishes. The Buddha didn't tell us to shut the doors, but to guard them. Be mindful at contact. Understand clearly. Don't cling. Freedom begins when we stop reacting blindly to the 6 doors. The sense bases are not enemies. They're tools. Used by craving, they bind. Used by wisdom, they liberate. We don't need to escape the world. Only see clearly and stop grasping. Then the doors open not to more suffering, but to freedom. The 31 Planes of Rebirth. The Buddha spoke of 31 realms of existence, from hell worlds of intense suffering to the blissful heavens of gods. But all are impermanent. The Buddha saw something radical. There is no enduring soul, no permanent identity. What we call self is just a flow of mental and physical processes. Seeing this is not philosophy, it's freedom. How do we escape this endless loop? The Noble Eightfold Path. 1. Right view. 2. Right intention. 3. Right speech. 4. Right action. 5. Right livelihood. 6. Right effort. 7. Right mindfulness. 8. Right concentration. Through mindfulness and wisdom, we can see each link of dependent origination arise and stop feeding it. And when we stop clinging, the wheel stops. There is no more rebirth, no more becoming. This is Nibbana, the unconditioned, the unborn, the unmade. You are not stuck. You are simply spinning. The wheel of samsara turns only because we push it. See the truth. Drop the illusion. Walk the path, and the wheel will stop. If this truth touched you, share it. Reflect on it. Live it. And walk toward the great freedom the Buddha saw beneath the Bodhi tree. May you find the path. May you walk it well. May you be free. May all beings be liberated from samsara.